An isolated lake where an old monk lives in a small floating temple. The monk has a young boy living with him, learning to become a monk. We watch as seasons and years pass by. That's the film from 2003 from Ki-duk from South Korea that premiered at the Locarno Film Festival. Welcome back to the 2.54 centimeter barrier, and today we're taking a look at a film that jumps around in time and jumps around in season and jumps around with its animal cruelty too, which is a bit of a tough watch. But let's get straight into it. Kevin, what do you think about this movie? And do you feel like it aged well? You know, it's a movie that came out in 2003, was picked by South Korea as their Oscar submission, was widely seen and regarded as a really, really great film. But what did you think of it?
I quite liked it. So you watched it before me, and
Yeah.
I just, when I saw your 3-star rating, I was like, oh, I'm curious as to why. And when the animal cruelty started happening, I was like, that's already one reason why.
Yeah.
And then there are some like production mistakes and like editing mistakes, and it's like that's probably another reason why I didn't like it as much. But I rather quite liked it. Now, the film does jump around in time and in story, like you said. It's essentially in chapters.
Mhm.
And like the second chapter, where the monk and the woman are falling in love, it's a little bit borderline creepy on like that sort of stalker thing. And it's also like, you're really gonna make love right next to the old guy, to the point that you're like, this is not even a secret anymore. I will say though, there's one scene where the lady goes away and he's on this walk and he sort of is climbing down this walk like he's fucking Spider-Man. And I was quite impressed with that one, I must say. Like, he only fell from that point on. It's like, okay, you're quite impressive. But, the movie did win me over in the end.
Yeah. I did like the point it was making, It's great overall, but it's just, I think that's also, we can talk about that further maybe when we go from chapter to chapter, but the ending specifically, there's like 90 seconds that was cut from the US version of it. That is very much about the cycle, like specifically just the animal cruelty at the end is cut and left out. And I think that works way better than like continuing this cycle, because I think it like overemphasizes on some of those things that like were to me a bit like look at this human expression, which goes from I am cruel, I learn to be less cruel, but if I want to possess things, I will ultimately murder, and because of my lust. And then I can redeem myself. My life is in devotion to sort of solitude and giving up any worldly possessions. And then the cycle recontinues, and we have to teach the next generation the same sort of thing. But we are also flawed in ourselves. I like that sort of overall message. I just don't think the way that he goes about it is something that like I liked, because it is a bit more bleak than it needs to be in certain moments, and it's also like incredibly creepy and almost this fatalistic notion of like it needs to be this way, and that sort of human nature. And I don't know, I usually like that depressing stuff in a way that it's just like, oh yeah, there's no sort of redeeming factor about like the world or how we save it. Yeah, I don't know. It like the location specifically was to be a highlight. Like just that lake over the seasons was a lot of fun to see. Especially because it shows how he's static in an environment that's constantly ever changing, and that's the point that the movie is also making with the change of seasons. And I like the fact that we see the change of seasons every few years, and we're not exactly in the same year, which adds a lot to the story. And that second chapter, which is one of the longer ones, it does like bump it down a little bit for me. But in the same way that we saw the samurai and the prisoner back in Cannes, and then those mythical things are coming into play later in the movie. It's like, I do like that a lot, Yeah. I mean, I love how it sort of also sees him post that, like post getting arrested and all. Like the training that he does to be just like this ultimate like flexible guy who's just like jumping around and sort of can do the splits in midair. It's like, oh my god, what the fuck is happening? It's like,
and they don't show the landing, and it's like that guy must have crashed to the ice or something. Please don't tell me.
Yeah, because at one point he like jumps into the lake almost right into the pond.
which one of the ones was more cruel to you? Tying the animals to a rock, feeding the animals the rock, or using the cat to write that many characters on that floor?
I was like flabbergasted when he used the cat and like just didn't stop. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing to this cat? And he, like, I think the most cruel thing was what he did to the snake. I think to the snake it's like the worst, but it's also like you texted me that frog ain't alive like the next morning, because it's also when they stop showing it that moment, he tries to get up on a rock and can't, right? And then the shot back, like when he's still alive, is like still in that same place. And I was like, okay. They were just like, all right, come off screen. I tie a stone to your back. Go back in. And like, and then with the snake, it might have been, I don't know, they probably killed it, but.
Well, when he got the message of like, you have to return to the animals, I was like, I'll think the snake will be alive, but like the frog and the fish definitely won't be. And then the snake is dead. It's like, well, I was wrong.
Yeah. When his punishment is basically, like in my translation, I thought it said you have to carry the stone for the rest of your life if one of them is like dead. Then I was like, fuck yeah. Does this kid have to carry the stone for the rest of his life? I want that. I want that to be the movie. Carry it and be a hunchback, or like make this kid a hunchback for the shitbag that he is. And his stupid ass fake laughing. I think the laughing also was a bit rough in this. I was like so disconnected. Like that's how he laughs. Like, fuck off, you little kid. And I was like, can we drown that kid? Like, what can we do? How many different ways can we show this kid to die? And that was the only thing that I wanted to happen for the rest of the movie. Because he was dead to me. Then it's like in a translation, if you go to IMDb, for example, it's one of the quotes, I believe. Well, like I've found it somewhere. No, I didn't find it on IMDb. There's a different one. There's only 2 of them that are there, but like apparently the translation is like you carry this in your heart for the rest of your life.
That was my translation in the subtitles too.
And it wasn't mine, so I was like, hell yeah, I'm in for this ride. Strap that kid with a big ass stone.
I hope that wasn't at the detriment to your experience as well, because we've talked about
translation?
How subtitles can mess up your experience if they're not translated, or like just
maybe it was correctly in your heart, like, but I just read it incorrectly because I was hopeful that like when I don't know, I'd have to go back and check, but we might have had different subtitles, but yeah, the animal cruelty stuff, I think it's like it's trying to make a point that I don't know, this like sort of tie to make your life harder than it needs to be. Like I don't know, I just feel like we spend a lot of runtime in this movie doing like bad things to animals, and that's just like then the overall message was to me lessened because I was like, I gotta sit through this uncomfortable stuff that I don't enjoy.
Well, I was hopeful that the master at the end was gonna pop up and the kid and sort of teach him, but unfortunately he never did. So that also a little bit nulled the cycle, that the cycle doesn't have to be repetitive. Like we can hand off our mistakes. I was missing the lesson at the end, but for me, I don't think the animal cruelty takes over that much of the movie. It's really just like the beginning and the bookend of the film that comes into play. I also love the detective when they shoot at that can, and then it's like my little
farming.
yeah. I really love the main actor performance as well. That played the old monk.
Yeah,
because during the movie, I was like, where the fuck have I seen this guy before? I know him from somewhere. And then it's like, oh, Squid Game. Yeah, of course. And it's like, but we're both like quite astounded by how many credits he has, because it's actually not that many.
No, like 10, I believe. Like overall, that includes TV too. So
yeah. And he's a wonderful actor. So I don't know if he's an actual monk at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's played like an old priest, a temple master, and on a TV show in 62 episodes of The Great Queen Seon-deok, he played like a monk for 62 episodes. So yeah, that's sort of, I guess, the role that he can play safely. We were like, you were saying, like he has the look of a monk, he has a face for a monk, so that sort of works out. But I think it's interesting as well that like in a lot of ways, to me this was a similar thing of like resurrection, where we had to look up some of the history to understand what it tried to allude to, what we are taking away from it versus what the intention was. And there's obviously a lot of like Buddhist religion that is very specific here. Like, for example, what he makes him write down or like carve into the home, like the front area there.
Yeah.
That is the Heart Sutra, and they're South Korean, but like that whole Heart Sutra is in Chinese. So like it is Chinese characters that he's writing in there, and over the seasons there's different animals that sort of appear besides them too. In the first part, in Spring, it's a dog that's supposed to sort of mean the fidelity to one's masters, sort of subordinates. In the second one, it's a chicken, and in Buddhist art, that sort of represents desire and craving. He does have the quote about like lust leads to desire for possession or something like that, and possession leads to murder, which is very direct sort of foreshadowing that I think was also like quite a bit over the top to me. And when he does leave with when he does leave after the girl leaves as well, he does take both the like the Buddha statue and the rooster with him. Sort of like I read that the implication is sort of these two thefts are like while his craving sort of symbolized by the rooster, but also the burden of his master's teaching, that he sort of takes both things with him. And then when he returns, a cat is there, that's sort of representing a temporary resting place of a soul of very spiritual people, that like there's someone in there. And then I was like, oh my god, that poor person that is in that cat and just gets used as like, has he ever heard of like a brush? He could be using that. And then in winter you have the animal motive of the snake, which is the Buddhist symbol of anger. And that one it sees him return, right? And that's the one. Does he wait? I think the master already kills himself in the fall chapter, right? At the end of the fall chapter, and then we jump to winter, and he's gone.
Yeah, he does.
I honestly, like, I think I prefer the winter chapter the most. Like for the last chapter for spring, it's also it sort of begins with the kid tormenting a turtle in front of the monastery, and that is like a traditional symbol of longevity and prognostication of the future. And I guess that sort of makes sense to weave that in there. But I think like visually the winter chapter is the most the one that really is like, oh, how did they do that? Like it really froze over. I didn't think that this pond could freeze. But yeah, what did you think? What was your favorite?
Winter is probably my favorite because he's just, he's returning, like he's learned his lesson, he's accepting the way, and I feel like then that the master has done the same, road as him, like has walked that same road as him. I have no clue what the hell the paper thing is though. Like, do you know?
I think the symbol it says like closed. Or something like that. Like I think one of them says close and the other one, and he does the same thing, and like the guy comes back, right?
Yeah.
The young monk, and wants to kill himself there, and isn't allowed to. Then hung up and beaten. And
the way he hung him up was also mad impressive, I must say.
Yeah,
that's just straight up Saw.
Yeah, no, he knows his shit. I don't know where he learned that stuff, but I guess he knows what he's doing. And then the old monk does it to himself, which to me was a bit of a question mark. Like I didn't specifically get why he kills himself there.
Because I think he has no apprentice. Like the guy is gonna be in prison. Like the monk will definitely be old. Like he has no one to pass it to. Mm-hmm. And I think that's like a sort of like seppuku way to go. It also reminded me, like, when the Romans, they give the 2 coins to put on your eye and you burn your body alive. I also was thinking about that.
Oh, like in a way, like, hey, you don't get to die yet. You need to redeem yourself. You have life to live, and I don't have life to live. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a bleak outlook, but I mean, their lives are very simple up there. And it also seems like potentially not as many people have come to visit him. Also, I think we don't really see anyone really get up there apart from like, hey, here's a vague sickness of a young teenage kid, and then I guess implied that the young kid who we see grow up also maybe was probably dropped off. It's not his kid. Very likely that was the same situation.
Well, the last kid is the babies of the lady that like sort of killed herself. That's the kid.
I mean, like at the end at the end,
again.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think she killed herself. She that was to me another really like crazy thing to basically immediately after she drops her kid to also drop off a kid to also punish her for it in a way in this like cinematic thing of like killing her immediately.
And you never see her face as well. Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't a fan of that either, because it felt like there's some sort of judgment that was put on there for like this sort of like divine punishment for what she's done.
I feel like it's a shame, and that's also like a sort of way to end her life. But it's I don't know. Like there are things I love about this movie, and there's just things that just leave me a little bit in the dark.
Yeah.
Also, and yeah. Even the sex scenes, like, brother, they are choosing the most difficult spots to have sex in. Like, next to the old master, are you fucking insane?
But the door's closed.
Yeah, but the door's closed, right? Okay. They're fucking on a boat, which, that's rocking back and forth. I don't know how easy that is.
To me, it's funny that they fall asleep in the boat. Like, at least go back.
Yeah. And on, like, hard rock as well. Like, that cannot be comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, he is a horny guy. I think what I had struggles with as well is that the teachings are always you let the natural thing of someone behaving badly just unfold and then you react to it. And I was like, I don't think that is good teaching. You don't have to make someone who's causing other people to suffer let that suffering unfold. You can stop them like before that. And that's why... Like, that's, like, with the animals, but also sort of...
Like, you can interrupt, you can intercept.
Then, like, what the fuck are you even teaching someone if all about it is, like, you are on your personal journey, and it always leads to redemption because you are doing bad things? And I was like, no, just be a better parental figure. Like, come on, man. I know you're aura farming, and you're like, nah, I just gotta do this my way, but I don't know, it had me pretty frustrated. That location, too, by the way, 200 years ago, it's like it's an artificial pond. It's not like it's an actual location that they got the rights to film there. They were like negotiating with the Ministry of Environment for like half a year, and they got like the sort of okay to do it. But it's an artificial lake.
Oh wow, that impresses me. I mean, it's also the way that you can sort of steer and have these angles that throughout this movie, like you have control over that location, so like it does make sense.
You did say something about the editing that was a bit frustrating, that you thought that maybe I like it less. I think specifically in Spring, in the opening, the editing when they're on the boat is a bit rough because they cut so many times, and I don't really see the purpose why.
Well, yeah, and you can see when something's a little bit more fast forward and like, sped up. Yeah, there's a moment where you can see him lying on the ground when he's finished that job, and the detective and the monk are painting it. And then, you can see him lying on the floor, but the letters have already been painted, like, right at his face. So, in that regard, they would have painted literally in front of his face, and he didn't wake up. But when they go to wake him up, those letters are still, unpainted. So, it's like those little editing mistakes that I spotted. And they can see throughout. It's not a perfect film in terms of production or anything.
No, I don't think so either. And again, I think overall, I do like the vibe and what it's trying to go for to say. I just don't agree with some of the statements in here, and I think they weren't interesting for me. And I don't need to agree with a movie's sort of what it's trying to say or what it's trying to depict. But I had a few things where I was like, this isn't adding up to too much that I think resonates with me. So yeah. Like you said, like I'm at a 3 out of 5 for this one.
I gave it on Letterboxd like a 4 out of 5, but I put down it like 7.5 out of 10. But so I rounded it up.
I mean, we do have to talk about it. Like, people still love this movie. It's at spot number 387 on Letterboxd with a 4.2 average rating.
At time of recording, yeah.
Yeah, do you think we'll have a sway in like people listen to us?
No,
and like, well, actually, it's
no. But like, I think last time it was 385. So like, there are little switches.
Yeah. You mean like those little gaps?
Yeah,
people like literally us two rating it maybe have moved it down 2 points, or like at least me.
Nah, probably not.
But yeah, why do you think people like nowadays logging it on a social media platform like Letterboxd are really still resonating with the film?
It's a little bit with Qui-Gon as well, right? I mean, Qui-Gon's a super highly rated film, and we were like, oh yeah, like these chapters we didn't like as much. It might also be to the fact that people are seeing something like this, and they're like, oh, what is this? And then it's like their first movie of something like this kind. But we've seen a few ones already that are doing this religion and monk and these anthology structures. So maybe we're already a little bit adjusted to it, and that's why we're lowering it.
I guess people really, and it's more a general audience that I would say the Letterboxd audience, but there's something about the epic structure of a story that sort of skips and showcases the whole life that people really, really resonate with, even if the movie isn't that good. But like, then we have other versions of this, like Benjamin Button, for example, like random other example, where people, but it's in a filmmaker's filmography and then it's lesser. So it's like often by directors, which, and I don't know, actually, no, there's no connecting point. No, that's actually not true. I can't make an argument. I think it's like part of it that, like the vagueness and the bleakness of it, some people really do resonate with that, to be further removed from characters and see sort of something larger unfold, and that sort of represents something larger. But again, I think I didn't really feel that. And I'm not familiar with the director. Like he's
I was
done
about
over
to say
20 films, but I haven't seen any of them a part of that like Venice 70 that he was also part of. But like, it's a shit ton of directors.
He had done a lot of other highly rated movies on Letterboxd. I mean, you got 3 Iron, a 4.1, then The Net, Address Unknown, I See Pieta, like all have above like a 3.6, 3.7, etc.
And so I think that the second chapter was like sexy time. If you look at his posters, a lot of them feature women, a lot of them sort of lustful. I think that's sort of like he probably would. And also look at his profile picture. That guy, that is a cheeky motherfucker. That's like, what is your sex scene? Like that's the sort of look he's giving me.
I do have the aisle because I bought the movie like summer fall spring spring summer fall. I did buy that from Umbrella, and then there was the Blu-ray called The Isle. Bought that one as well, and now only just saw that they share the same director. So I'll probably watch that in the future as well.
I mean, I wouldn't be against us revisiting this director on a future episode. I think, with maybe something else, a different focus, like Free Iron, or like you said, like Isle. I would be down to give him another try. It's not like I disliked him for his filmmaking, but yeah, a slight disconnect. Like for me, I think for large bits of the story, I was actually high on a 3.5 and 4 and was feeling it with others, and then it just like didn't add up to something.
Then the end, there was more animal cruelty, and you were like, no, this is worse.
And it's also, dude, when he goes up that like hill to sort of emphasize the burden, like the stone, this Buddhist, like I think it's called the grinding stone, to this grinding stone, I think it's called Bava Kakra.
You nailed that.
Sure, it's like this turning thing, like the wheel of life, and this to like the cyclical existence. That's sort of what that implies to, and sort of carrying the burden of your own life up the hill to overcome it. Like, I think that sounds better than it actually unfolds on screen. But I do like that, like he goes up and then he drops at one point, and it's like,
but and the way he dropped it at one point, and like the drop was so deep.
Yeah, and then he makes 2 steps back.
And he takes 2 steps back.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of that sort of stuff. But yeah, overall, I think it's fine.
I think it's something that, if the people want to visit it, well, you go to visit it.
He doesn't only carry up the grinding stone as well. He also carries up the Maitreya, which is like this other, like regarded as the future Buddha. So that is another thing of like, hey, let's go into the future with it when it was already, you already had in the next chapter you do have the turtle there, so like that is already speaking to the longevity of like something new beginning. I just didn't like the kid when he tied. It's starting from when he tied a stone to a fish. I was like, I don't want this guy to redeem himself. I just want him to die.
Do you know what the gate also means?
Oh no, actually no.
No,
do you know?
Because he does give the gay the paint job at the end, and it's like, this is not a good paint job. I was like, this is not great. But yeah.
Yeah, I was also quite surprised when the monastery thing on the lake started floating around that much, because it's stationary for the first 2 bits, I believe. No, for the first bit.
It does move, like it's not like an actual static thing. Yeah.
No, but like then its focus is way more on it, I think, in fall. I think in that part of it.
How about we go to our next week's pick? What is it, Ewan?
I don't know, because it's back to you to pick what movie we're gonna watch next week.
I picked Anyara. It's apparently a Swedish movie. It got an Arrow Blu-ray, so unfortunately I don't have that one. Unfortunately, it's a sci-fi movie. So I thought we spend a little bit enough in Asia and the Middle East. Let's actually go back to Europe. Like to us. And I saw this one and was like, you know what? I want to do a sci-fi movie because we've done too many drama movies. Like I want to do another genre. So Anyara 2018 is next week's film.
And to all the Americans, they probably think, oh, this is from your home country, right? Swedish. That's there's literally someone in Gun again who messed that up, by the way. He was like, yeah, that's Swedish, right? And I was like, but what's this one about? A ship carrying settlers to a new home on Mars after Earth is rendered uninhabitable is knocked off course, causing the passengers to consider their place in the universe. Okay. Some existential, contemplative sci-fi stuff. Count me in for that. Already had that on my watch list too. So looking forward to Anyara. Which should be available as well to like rent and buy digitally.
It's on the Arrow streaming service as well if you have access to that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if is that a worldwide thing for Arrow, or is it only
I think it's only a British thing, but VPN's in it,
In it, yeah. Well, we'll see you next week.